Two words to describe this past year: thankful and motivation.
Now, what's the reasoning behind those words?
I'm thankful for the opportunity I was presented with the last year. I'm thankful for my friends and family staying with me. I'm thankful for new teammates that I've met, new coaches, this organization, and motivation. I worked my whole life to get to this point, and I played well this year. I contributed to an NBA championship. I mean, it's a dream come true for me, and that was just a great feeling. And it was just more motivation for me to, get that feeling again.
When you got the contract with the Warriors, was championship at all in your mind? Like, did you have a moment where you thought, I'm about to be an NBA champion?
Nah, I wasn't. I never I know how basketball works. I know it's a long season. Different things happen, and so I never, kind of look forward, to, championships or playoffs or. I like to enjoy the process. I like to enjoy the journey, and I was just thankful to be a part of the organization that's been, the top of basketball for the past 4 years. So just for me to learn, to be in that organization, I knew I would learn as much as possible, and that's all I was thinking about.
You joined the class of Prince George's County's favorite sons as far as basketball is concerned. You've been successful already. You're still holding your camp. Why is it important to you to keep your foot in this community?
That's the biggest, for me, that's the biggest thing that I try to stress. I wanted to be one of those guys that always gave back. And I didn't care if I was in the NBA or not. I just always wanted to be in a position to give back to, where I grew up at and the young boys and girls coming up, because I knew how influential the role models that I had coming up from this area were to me. So that's really the biggest feeling for me, the most important thing for my family, my friends, just everybody in here in my camp is a family or friend that's working, and my mom has established great relationships with a lot of the campers. She goes and watches them play during the year. It's just a family environment, and it's really the best feeling.
You're so thoughtful. You can tell that you've learned a lot. You say it so serious. Are you having fun with all of this, Quinn?
I am. This has been the best.
I am.
The best summer of my life. Just, finally getting to that point in my career where I knew I would be. But I always have that in my mind where I got to get more, and that just keeps me motivated. That keeps me, waking up at 7 a.m. After a championship. That keeps me sacrificing a lot to get to my common goal. And like I said, when I got my 2-year deal, I was happy, but it was still, I can do more. I can get to my 3, or I can get a 4. When I won a championship, I took a week, 2 weeks to, really just enjoy it and reflect, but have in my mind, all right, let's get another one. And I think that's what just keeps me going. I was lucky enough to have goal-driven friends who I hung around, so every day, we would hold each other accountable. And for me, just really believing in yourself. Everybody won't believe in you. There's certain people who will, but that all doesn't matter if you don't believe in yourself. And you get told no 9 times, you get, kicked down 10 times, you get up 11. I mean, it's cliche, but that's really life.
Thank you, sir.
Great job, Monica, and special shout out to Quinn Cook. I've known him. He actually played from our AAU organization back when he was like 9 years old. They came in second in the country, playing against Austin Rivers. Now, that fact aside, we're here to get you ready for NBA training camp with Armon Lee and Coach Jimmy Fly Hellmann. And Armon, is it just the Golden State we're looking for another reign, or can the offseason activities
This man was talking about this on Twitter today.
I honestly don't.
He's ready.
I don't think that it's a slam dunk as everyone makes it out to be. I think I'm not the biggest DeMarcus Cousins fan, first off. So adding Boogie, to me, doesn't strengthen Golden State's grip on the NBA Finals, right? So last year, they were one hamstring away from losing in the conference finals. This year, adding someone as talented as DeMarcus Cousins, there is no denying he is talented, but it just adds another level of variance, right? Because we don't know DeMarcus Cousins if he has bought in to a winning system, right? We've seen it with the Kings. We've seen it with Isaiah Thomas. He got better as soon as he stopped playing with DeMarcus Cousins. Saw it with Tyreek Evans. Got better as soon as he stopped playing with DeMarcus Cousins. We saw it with Anthony Davis, someone who was already an All-NBA player. Got better once DeMarcus Cousins got hurt. So we don't know how a player who's on a one-year deal, he clearly wants to get paid. And he's coming off of one of the worst injuries any NBA professional athlete can have. Exactly. So there's just an added level of variance. We don't know. I don't think they're a better team now than they were last year. They're more talented, but talent doesn't always equate to success. And then you look at teams like Utah, you look at teams like Houston, Boston, and Philadelphia. You have a tougher pool of teams now. Like the top class of the NBA is more talented this year than it was last season. So while I think Golden State should be the odds-on favorite, I don't think that they have strengthened their position from a year ago. A year ago when they almost lost in the conference finals.
That's a great analogy, and not analogy, those are great facts. It wasn't an analogy.
Thank you.
Those are good facts. But I am curious on the definition of better then, because we saw Anthony Davis become more productive almost out of necessity. If we were thinking big picture, because they were making it work before DeMarcus got hurt in New Orleans. If we were thinking big picture and longevity, could you argue that those two remaining together would have saved some miles maybe on AD?
Possibly. But when you have someone like Niko Mirotic who stepped up in a big way once DeMarcus came or was injured, his game is completely different. Like Boogie is, again, he's so talented that he demands touches. But those touches come at the expense of who? Anthony Davis, who is a superior player. You don't have to worry about getting Niko Mirotic 20 touches. You don't have to worry about Niko turning the ball over 4.5 times a game, which DeMarcus Cousins does. You don't have to worry about having Niko buy in defensively for fear that, okay, you know what, he's not working, we have to pull him. You can pull Niko easily if he's not defending. All of these things are issues that you have to wonder when it comes to DeMarcus Cousins. And that's before you even factor in his Achilles.
Please tell me we have a minute or two left.
Go ahead, because he's a Boogie supporter. Go ahead, Jimmy.
I've been campaigning for Boogie in DC for 3 years. I got to put a conjunction in there, my friend. I like you, but all right. Swaggy P, NBA title. The young man that was just on there, NBA title. JaVale McGee, NBA title. You're talking about a top 10 talent coming off injury, yes. When you put this guy played on the Olympic teams, okay, with these same guys. They know this guy, and they know what a monster he is. He is surrounded by shooters, Hall of Fame talent. He's not going to be asked to do too much, but what he can do if he's healthy the second part of the season come playoff time, he is going to be a monster in the middle of that lane for Golden State. That's something they've never had. They are undersized using a 6'7", small forward, Draymond Green, as their center.
But I don't know, Fly.
I'm telling you, Golden State is going to run rampant on these teams. And in the Eastern Conference, people keep just dismissing Kawhi Leonard going to Toronto. You're talking about a top 2-3 player in the league. Oh, poor John Wall and the Washington Wizards. They're not going to see the light of day because Boston, Philly, Toronto all got better talent, beat Washington last year, had 50-plus win seasons. And even though I wanted the Wizards to win 50 games a couple years ago, they didn't. And they're not going to do it now because the Eastern Conference has actually gotten better.
If I can respond to DeMarcus, because I believe you, I'm a huge Toronto Raptors fan, so we agree on that. But back to Boogie, because I can't let this go. Like, if Nick Young isn't defending, you can pull him.
Yeah,
like that's
I get
easy.
what you're saying.
If DeMarcus Cousins isn't defending, it's a much larger task to ask Steve Kerr, who already has issues with another very vocal, very demonstrative player.
He doesn't have issues with Draymond Green.
Draymond Green cursed him out.
So what? If you read anything about the relationship between Kerr and Draymond Green and how the other players see it, they have that symbiote. They can go at each other, and they say when practice is over and they walk off the court, it's like nothing ever happened. That's a lot different than what happened.
We're not saying that it's
Sacramento.
necessarily terse, but it's a dynamic relationship in that it requires energy and there's back and forth. But I think what we're maybe not acknowledging in terms of Boogie is could he have the capacity this year to be willing to take a step back? But you're saying because it's a one-year deal, he's trying to get paid out of this deal.
Again, I'm saying there's a lot of variance, right? So could he buy in because he's on a one-year deal and because his stock is at its lowest? Sure. But at the same time, he's also on a one-year deal, and he wants to show everyone.
If he doesn't buy in, they will sit him down.
But
then he's demanding a trade.
But what I'm saying
is,
is,
make him better.
But so we don't know. And
he's not going to do that because going to your point, he's trying to get paid.
But every time he has been,
can't get paid from the bench.
Yeah, every example in Sacramento, in New Orleans, they have improved.
All he has to be is healthy, because after 1 year, Dwight Howard, they're going to be begging Boogie Cousins to come to DC.
So you got to have him on your podcast, Armon, so you can get the home court advantage on him. So tell them about where they can catch your podcast.
Again, Apple Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you listen to podcasts, wherever you listen to any podcast, you can check out the Quarterly Report. Every Thursday we have a new episode. Monica is a frequent guest, as well as other people. So we talk about sports, pop culture.
Are you watching Power yet?
No.
Okay. Wow. You got to do it.
Get him.
You got to do it.
Man, don't start me now. See, I got Coach Flower on one hand. Man, don't start me on that.
All right, great job, guys. That's going to do it for this edition